To access your custom in-class filter, click on the Website Filter button in the upper right-hand corner of the classroom dashboard. From this page, you'll be able to specify individual sites to either block or allow access to. Any changes made on this page will only be applied to students within your class and will only be applied to those students while your class is active. So for example, if ESPN was a site that was allowed by the school as a whole and I wanted to block access to it in my classroom, I could come to this text box right here and specify espn.com and hit block site. Alternatively, if YouTube was a site that was blocked by my school, but I wanted to allow access to it in my classroom, I could come to this text box again and say youtube.com and hit allow site. Again, these changes will only be applied to students within your class and will only be applied to those students while your class is active. So the moment class is ended or students leave class, their filter settings will be reverted back to normal. To save your changes, click the Save Changes button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen here. There's multiple ways to add a site to this blocked list, the first of which being the first one we covered here as far as clicking this Block Site button. The second one would be looking to the right of the activity feed in this Open Tab section and looking for a site that we're trying to block and using this middle button here. So for example, I can see I have one student currently looking at Fortnite. If I wanted to block that for not only this single student looking at this content, but for everyone in my class, I can click on that middle button, and that will also add a site to our blocked list. We can make sure that change went through by going back to the website filter and seeing that that site's now on our blocked list. Another thing we can do from this filter page is limit access to either one site or a small list of sites. And we can do that by putting a star in the blocked list. So I'll show what that looks like here. So if we had only one site we wanted to allow access to, we would type in whatever site that may be. So we'll do Aristotle. K12.com. Allow access to whatever site the one you want students to be able to reach is, and then alternatively come over and put a star in the blocked list and save your changes. And what that's going to do is going to block every site other than any of those sites that you had in your allowed list. So you can see right here, all of these screens flipped over to our block page. But if I send people to the site that I put in my allowed list, you'll see that they will be able to still reach that site. The other thing to notice here is that all of these settings can be applied to the whole class or to an individual student. To apply these filter settings to an individual student, simply click on their screen, go to the Blocked and Allowed Websites tab above the screen view, and this page will look very familiar to the website filter for the whole class. Everything will perform exactly the same, except all of the settings entered in from this page will only apply to that specific student that you clicked on. Some other things to keep in mind with the filter here is if you are using a network filter or a firewall, you still will be able to block sites as we've discussed in here, but you won't be able to override anything that's been blocked in that network filter by adding a site to your allowed list. To allow a site that's been previously blocked, you'll need to be using the Aristotle Insight K-12 filter that's included in the administrative side of the system.